So the big question is this: how do you lose all the weight that you want and actually keep it off for the rest of your life, while trying to make sense of all the noise that comes from the weight loss industry? That is the question. And this podcast will give you the answers.
G'day guys, and welcome to the next episode of the Weight Loss Secrets podcast. My name's Baron Grant and I'm wrapped to be with you for another day, another tip, another trick, another idea that's going to help you make all the changes you want in your life to lose all the weight you want and keep it off for good. That's what it's all about. And before I jump into today's episode, make sure you head to ditchingthediet.com where you can just book a call with me and I can help you get started on your journey to really losing all that weight rather than just yo-yoing up and down. Today I want to talk about, well, the question I guess is, should you eat a plant-based diet to lose weight? Okay, so I want to talk about some of the reasons why that can be a little bit of a challenge. Because we look at it sometimes, we go, it's a really healthy way to live. Some people will view it like that. Whether you're vegetarian, pescatarian, or vegan, or you're thinking about heading down that path, well, it can be challenging and quite a complex thing if you're trying to lose weight. And I want to really talk about some of the challenges today that you're going to find when you're trying to lose weight while eating that style. Now, I want to say right off the bat, whatever way you choose to eat is up to you. That's your choice, right? But there's always consequences for the type of food that we choose to eat in our lives. And just because food is healthy doesn't mean it's good for losing weight. And so that's why I want to talk about whether being vegetarian or being vegan or any of those things are really helpful when you're trying to lose weight. And what are some of the main challenges that you'll find? And this has come off the back of, just today I had a conversation with a lady who was a vegetarian. And so she was not comfortable with eating anything, that is not plant-based. And so it made me think, I've had so many of these phone calls, why don't I just talk about it? Because very often I'll get 20, 30 minutes into a phone call, not know if somebody is a vegetarian or a vegan, and then they'll say, oh, by the way, I'm a vegetarian or I'm a vegan. And it's at that point in the call, I actually stop the call and I say, I appreciate it, but I'm just not your guy. I'm not the guy to be able to help you on your journey, and I want to explain the reasons why. So a bit of backstory first, and you'll hear this on almost every video I talk through, but there's only one way that we lose weight. One way, and that's it, and it's calorie reduction. Anybody who tells you it happens any other way is kidding themselves and they don't know anything about what they're talking about. It's when we reduce calories that our body uses our fat stores as an energy source. That's it. And really, it's quite simple. Your body at your weight and your height needs a certain amount of energy coming in to function every day. If we eat more than that, we'll generally gain weight. If we eat less than that, we start to lose weight. And the other thing that overlays over the top of that is too much consumption of carbohydrates and sugar. So even if you reduce your calories, but you're still eating lots of carbs and sugar, you're not going to lose weight very fast because that stuff stores as fat faster. That's weight loss 101. The only discussion really is how you're going to do it. How are you going to reduce those calories? What foods are you going to eat? Or what gimmicky things are you going to look at taking, whether it's keto gummies or pills or potions or whatever. Now that is, why am I talking about that when I'm talking about, vegan or vegetarian? Well, because that is the metric that is most important. It's reduction of calories and reduction of carbohydrates and sugar. They are the two levers that will make you lose weight every single time without fail. No guesswork, it always works. The problem that you've got when you're on a vegetarian or vegan diet is that it's not as simple as it is when you eat meat, or whether I'm talking more so chicken and fish and things like that. When you eat those things, it's much easier. And the reason it's much easier is because you can eat high amounts of protein at a low calorie rate. Remember, when we try to lose weight, we've got to reduce calories. But when we reduce calories, we feel hungry. So we need to eat more, we feel like we need to eat more food. But if we eat high protein, then we lose weight. Here's the flip side for vegans and vegetarians, and even pescatarians, because you can't just eat fish all day, every day, you'll go crazy. But the problem comes at the lack of lean protein. There literally is no lean protein on a vegan or vegetarian diet. And people will probably scream at me, but you can go and do your own research. You can jump online and talk and look at, things that have, large amounts of protein in a vegan diet. They're pathetic in comparison. And I'm not talking about vegans being pathetic or anything like that, so no one shoot me. What I'm saying is that the amount of protein you get on plant-based foods for the amount of calories associated with that protein intake is off the chain. And it makes the whole process of losing weight so much more complicated. Now, you can still lose weight as a vegan or a vegetarian, but you're probably going to have to count calories and take supplements to be able to make up the difference that you can't get in your protein. So people talk about tofu being good protein. Well, you would need to eat about 600 grams of tofu. No one's eating 600 grams of tofu to get the same amount of protein out of one chicken breast. It's insanity. And so you end up blowing it out with calories, but you would never eat that much tofu anyway. Nobody would. So that's one of the big problems. The problem is there is no lean protein on a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet. So when you start reducing, when you can't eat eggs, which are high source of protein at low calorie, when you can't eat chicken, high source of protein at low calorie, that applies to turkey and fish as well, it becomes extremely challenging to stay full. So what are the foods that you would eat to stay full? Things like this: lentils, nuts, potatoes, pumpkins, sweet potatoes, avocados. Every single one of those is very, very, very unhelpful when you're trying to lose weight. I would not have anybody eat any of that stuff when you're trying to lose weight. If you want to lose weight quickly, not count calories, not weigh everything, you can't eat that stuff. You can't be eating loads of avocado, you can't be eating lentils, you can't be eating your mueslis, you can't be eating much carbohydrates at all. So when you're void of protein, good sources of lean protein, which vegans and vegetarians are void of that, when you're void of that, then you have to supplement and put either supplements in, or you have to put something else in its place to stop feeling empty. And when you put those high calorie, high carbohydrate foods in, it does two things. It increases your calorie intake so you can't lose weight, and also increases your carbohydrate sugar amount that's turned into glucose and storing as fat really fast. That's why it's so complicated. Because now you've got to figure out, all right, now I've got to count my macros. Now I've got to look at how much carbs am I eating? How much protein am I eating? How much of this? You've got to start managing that, because the foods that you're choosing to eat are extremely high in calories. So now you've got to decide, now I've got to have small portions because they're too calorie dense and I'm blowing out all of my calories for the day. So remember, we have to be down in our calories, but if you are eating the wrong sorts of food, healthy doesn't matter, because healthy can make you gain weight just as fast as unhealthy. If you're eating the wrong types of food for weight loss, such as nuts, avocado, chickpeas, lentils, beans, all that sort of stuff is absolute wrong foods, polar opposite to what is good when it comes to losing weight. If you're eating those things, you now have to reduce your portion sizes. You have to reduce your portion sizes to very small portions. The average person has a BMR, a basal metabolic rate, of about 1,500 calories a day, right? So if you want to lose weight, you have to eat under that. Don't kid yourself. I speak to people all the time, literally, who say, I'm not eating enough calories. It's never the case. You need to eat less calories if you want to lose weight. You're not going to be you're not going to be putting weight on unless you're eating too many calories or the wrong calories, right? So you've got to reduce the number of calories that you're putting in your mouth. But if you're eating things like nuts, you're going to eat so many of your calories in one go, because if your BMR is 1,500, you'll end up paying about 1,000 calories to lose weight. If you're eating much more than that, you just won't get much speed in your weight loss. So if you're eating down at 1,000 calories and you're eating 10 almonds, that's 100 of your calories gone. That's okay. You're going to eat an avocado, you might eat 300 or 400 calories in your avocado. So in 10 almonds and one avocado, you could potentially, depending on the size of the avocado, of course, you could eat 400 or 500 calories. That's half of your daily intake of food. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but you have to eat very small. You have to be very careful of your portions. You have to be super careful of the stuff that you eat. Because when I talk veggies, for example, which is, as a vegetarian, you're eating lots of that stuff, which is great, but the ones that you can't really eat much of, all the starchy carbohydrates. So things like potatoes, pumpkin, sweet potato, peas, corn, all no good, all too high in carbs, not very helpful when you're trying to lose weight. So all the other, lower calorie veggies, you can eat all that stuff, but that doesn't fill you up. That's why I get people to eat more protein, because low calorie veggies doesn't fill them up. So if you are vegan or vegetarian, you've got to think really carefully about the types of food that you are eating. Now, if you're not vegan or vegetarian, but you're thinking about, lots of people I talk to go down that path or have gone down that path because they think it's a healthier way to lose weight. Don't do it if you're trying to lose weight. It's not a great way to lose weight, because you'll end up consuming large amounts of calories just to stay full, just to feel like you're not empty. So I'm not standing here and saying it's unhealthy, so don't shoot me. Everyone gets a little bit passionate about this stuff, but I'm not saying it's unhealthy. But when you just look at the facts of it, it's actually quite challenging to get your calories low enough, because the foods that you'll choose to eat on a vegan or vegetarian diet end up being quite high in calories. Quite high in calories for the amount of protein that you get. And remember, the protein's the special bit, because the protein, it stops you feeling hungry, makes you feel satiated. So the fact that you're not hungry makes the whole process of trying to lose weight much, much easier and much more sustainable, and much more chance that you'll actually stick it out long term. So if you're thinking about losing weight, going vegan or vegetarian is not the right approach. Whatever people choose to do and their reasons for eating on a vegan and vegetarian diet, that's your choice. You do your thing and that's cool. But looking at it from a weight loss perspective, it can make it way more tricky and way more challenging to be able to do that. And the reason is lack of protein, lack of lean, low calorie protein. But I'm open. If you can find me a protein source that is as low calorie as a chicken breast, I will stand corrected. But I don't think you'll find any. So that's my thoughts for today. If you really want to lose weight, you've got to find lean protein at low calorie. That's what the winner is. We'll talk soon.